Children, for 10th standard we are going to continue with the chapter on photosynthesis. In the last class I was discussing about the opening and closing of the stomata, and we could not finish because of the time limitation was there. Now the guard cell usually opens during the daytime, and the stomata opens because there is a bulging of the guard cell due to endoosmosis, and in the night the stomata closes. So usually this opening and closing of stomata is controlled by the guard cells. These guard cells are two bean-shaped cells which are found on the epidermis, and together they are called the stomata, and the opening is called the stoma. It is surrounded by other epidermal cells which are called the subsidiary cells. Now what happens that during daytime the glucose formation helps in transport of the potassium ions from outside to inside the guard cell. This is one of the theory, and the classical theory of course is little bit different. So when potassium enters inside, the concentration of the guard cell here inside increases. That means the water potential decreases. Decrease of water potential means increase in concentration of the solution. Now that causes the water molecules from outside to come inside by the process of osmosis, and that you know as endoosmosis. So when endoosmosis takes place, there is a differential thickening in the guard cell. The guard cell inside is thickened more and the outside is thin in the periphery. So usually the bending takes place more towards the outside, causing the stomata to open. In the night time, just the reverse thing takes place. The glucose formation is no more there. There is a flux of the potassium ion from inside the guard cell to the outside, and that causes increase in the water potential. That means the concentration here decreases. So when the concentration decreases, the water moves out of the guard cell, and the guard cell becomes flaccid and becomes elongated with closing of the stomata. You can see here the stomata open, here the stomata closes in the night time. Now this phenomenon is actually helping photosynthesis, that during the daytime the carbon dioxide can enter through the stomata, even the water vapor can move out of this, the oxygen which is also formed as a byproduct, that also can move out of the leaf through the stomata, because the stomatas are distributed on the undersurface of the leaf in dicot leaf and on both the surface on monocot leaf. Now this is one aspect. So you have to know that what do the stomata do. The stomata helps in opening, the guard cells helps in opening and closing of the stomata, thereby helps in the exchange of gases which are required during photosynthesis or after photosynthesis is there. Now we are going into the two reaction. The first reaction is called the light reaction. Now the light reaction is a reaction which takes place in the thylakoids. Now what is a light reaction? That why do we call it a light reaction? It's called light reaction, also known as Hill reaction, also known as photochemical reaction, because these reactions take place in presence of sunlight. Without light this reaction cannot take place. Now that's why it's called a photochemical. So what is the site of the reaction? The grana or the thylakoids are the site of the reaction. Now what happens is that in this reaction there are certain steps. You have to know those steps very briefly, and what is happening exactly in the light reaction we will just see here in a diagram. The first thing that takes place in this is what we call the activation of the chlorophyll molecule. Now what is the activation of the chlorophyll molecule? The chlorophyll molecule is contained inside the thylakoid. Here I am shown with an elliptical structure that this is CHL chlorophyll. Now when the sunlight falls on this chlorophyll molecule, usually there are certain free electrons in the chlorophyll molecule which moves out of the molecule and is captured by certain active compounds or certain compounds like ferredoxin, which are called electron acceptor. Ferredoxin, plastoquinone, plastocyanin, certain types of chemicals are there. They accept this electron or catch the electrons. Now when the electron is moving out of the chlorophyll molecule, usually energy is absorbed in the chlorophyll molecule. But the electron actually returns to the chlorophyll molecule directly through this electron transport chain or sometimes indirectly. Now that you will know in higher classes about the movement of this chlorophyll, the movement of these electrons from the higher or the active state to the core molecule of the chlorophyll. Now when they return to the core molecule of the chlorophyll molecule, usually energy is dissipated. Now this energy is harnessed or used for various purposes. Now what is the second thing? So first is the activation of the chlorophyll molecule, and now when the electron is coming back, then a certain thing takes place which is called the splitting of the water molecule. So that energy is used for splitting the water molecule. So H2O is split into H plus and OH minus ion. So 4 photon molecules split H2O into H plus and OH minus ions. Now what happens to these 4 OH minus ions? They leave 4 electron. You can see 4 OH minus 4 electron is equal to 4 OH. Now this 4 OH forms 2 H2O and O2. Now the water that is formed is a byproduct that can be used in photosynthesis or it can be given out. So water is one of the end product and oxygen is also one of the end product. So one question it can be asked here, that where is the oxygen coming from? So you can easily answer that the oxygen is coming from the splitting of the water molecule. Now the splitting of the water molecule takes place because of this energy which is given out by the chlorophyll molecule, which helps in splitting the water molecule into H plus and OH minus ion. Now this 4 OH minus ions leaves this 4 electron. Now what happens to this electron? In some cases the electron returns to the core molecule because of the deficiency of the electron, but some electrons are there that can combine with a compound which is called NADP. So that NADP molecule is called nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. Nicotinamide in adenine dinucleotide phosphate. This NADP molecule picks up the electron and becomes NADP minus. Okay, so these electrons come from here and the H plus molecule also attaches to it. Now it becomes NADP plus electron plus H plus. That becomes NAD electron. This becomes a proton and NADPH. So it forms this we call the reduced nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. So this is a compound which is formed in the light reaction, which will be used in the dark reaction. Now what is the third? The third thing that happens, or the fourth thing that happens, is that these high energy electrons, when they are coming down through the electron transport chain, they help in combination of ADP. ADP, that's an energy rich molecule which has a less energy than ATP. This combines with inorganic phosphate across the thylakoid membrane, and these high energy electrons, they help in binding these two to form ATP. So what is ATP? Adenosine triphosphate. ADP is adenosine diphosphate. So di means 2 phosphate with another phosphate forms ATP. So this is also used in the dark reaction. So NADPH and ATP, these are to be used in the dark reaction. And the last compound that is formed is the oxygen, which I have already told you that this oxygen as an end product is a byproduct of the light reaction. So you can say that in light reaction, oxygen is one of the byproduct which we obtain from the light reaction. So what do we learn today in the light reaction? First thing is that in light reaction, your activation of the chlorophyll molecule, that chlorophyll molecule which is contained in it, these chlorophyll molecules are of different type, like chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B mainly, and other types of chlorophylls are there. There are certain other photosynthetic compounds like carotene, like xanthophyll, like anthocyanin. They together harness this light energy. I told you that these chlorophyll molecules or the photocenters can be activated by about a wavelength of 400 nanometer to 700 nanometer. So the first step is activation of the chlorophyll molecule. Second step is using this energy of this, which is trapped energy or light energy, photons. We split the water molecule into hydrogen and hydroxyl ion. The hydroxyl ion leaves the electron, and this electron combines with hydrogen and NADP, which is a compound found as an end product of the dark reaction, again forms NADPH, or called reduced nicotinamide adenosine dinucleotide phosphate. And it also helps in the formation of ATP, which is called photophosphorylation. Formation of ATP from ADP is called photophosphorylation. Why? Because here the sunlight is the cause. The photons are the cause of the formation of ATP. Because other types of ATP are formed, like in respiration also ATP is formed. That is mainly which we call chemical, in oxidation of the glucose helps. So we call it an oxidative phosphorylation, but here it is called photophosphorylation. So thank you very much for hearing or listening to this. Go through the chapter of the light reaction. If you have any question, you can put up the question, and we will discuss about the dark reaction in the following classes. Thank you very much.